Hi. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wine and Reason. I am Julie. We have no time for wine today. We have no time for makeup. We have no time for anything because we have so much to cover. Um, I see so much love in the chat right now, but if you live in the United States, I'm about to make you really sad, and I'm sorry for that. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. Okay. Um, but really quickly, I'm going to say hi to Ox, a bit of tea in Danish. Amiga Nuts, Mark Caesar, and my darling Junk Shop Library is in the chat. So good to see all of you. Thank you for coming. Oh, Microraptor, I'm sorry. Hello. Ah, yes. Hey, lady. And yes, Nerds Rock. I like that very much. I'll pop that up for a second. Okay, so as some of you probably know, or most of you probably know, the Congress and the Senate had to come up with a bill. It was a COVID-19 relief deal, essentially, because a bunch of benefits for struggling Americans were going to expire at the end of December. So, according to usatoday.com, lawmakers struck a roughly $900 billion COVID-19 stimulus deal that includes another round of stimulus checks and badly needed jobless benefits for struggling Americans, ending a long standoff in Washington with one of the biggest rescue bills in U.S. history. Now, there have been months of impasse on these negotiations, and there's a reason for that. This bill is 5,600 pages long. Legislators got it they made their agreements on Sunday. They got it yesterday, just a few hours before they had to vote on it. So I don't care if you're the most amazing speed reader ever. Nobody read this entire thing before it was passed. Hey, godless sewing. Hey, never again. So, yes, there are some writers in this bill that are disturbing, and I had to read some really conservative sources that were happy about these writers to find them spelled out, which was not fun for me either. So, but all of the sources are in the description. Hey, Amber Schofield. All right, so the good news, there is some good news. The good news is that some of us who are jobless are going to see our unemployment benefits extended. And once I heard about that, I spent 4 hours making a new claim because I'd already reached my state cap, but the federal stimulus should alter that. And if it doesn't, my state has generously agreed to give me $38 a week in unemployment. It's okay. So anyway, yeah, 4 hours to complete the application and go ahead and do the weekly certification, which was applying for 3 jobs, even though I'd already applied for other jobs, but it doesn't let you just put that information. It doesn't let you log the jobs that you apply for outside of the site. And so it's a very limited scope. You'd think it being get a job and get off of this unemployment insurance thing, please, quickly, that they'd make it easier. There were weird things on that form too, like for skills. I mean, there's stuff that goes back to just pre-computer or pre-personal computer stuff. It was weird. All right. Hey, Geozam. So I have no idea. I don't know. I think they just sort of update it as they go, but they never take anything off. I'm not sure. Yeah. All right. So back to the COVID-19 relief bill. Beginning next week, Americans will be getting, all adults and children will be getting $600 Checks, either direct deposit. If you get your tax refund direct deposited, it'll be direct deposited into your account. If you don't do that, you'll receive a physical check. There may be delays for lots of various reasons. Let me see. Going back to going back to the USA Today article. The measure was tied to a $1.4 trillion spending bill to fund federal agencies and programs through September 30th, the end of the fiscal year. The Senate resoundingly passed the package late Monday, sending the bill to Trump to sign. And here's what it is. Okay, so the measure contains a $600 direct payment to Americans who earned up to $75,000 in 2019 for the year. So if you earn 75 grand or less, you should get a $600 stimulus check. But it also provides $600 per child, which was up from $500 in the spring. The bill also includes $1,200 for couples making up to $150,000 a year. That part's very confusing to me. It's like if you make more money, you get more stimulus money. But 600 and 600 is 1,200. So no, I guess you don't. You don't get more. I'm sorry, can't do math. Okay. Yeah, really quickly, everybody, you just saw me try to math without a calculator and with no preparation. That's what it looks like. It's scary. It's a scary thing. All right. The size of the benefit will be reduced for those earning more than $75,000 or $150,000 per married couple, similar to the last round of stimulus checks. The amount will decrease by $5 for every $100 of income above those thresholds, phasing out entirely at $87,000 for individuals and $174,000 for couples. Right. So I'm going to leave USA Today for a minute and go to BloombergGovernment.com because Bloomberg Government did mention specifically the ways that some of this money is being spent. So other provisions. So this is how they broke it up. So agriculture and FDA gets $23.395 billion. Commerce, Justice, and Science gets $71.1 billion. Defense gets $696 billion. Okay, I mean, that's good, but also pandemic. Could we have given science a little bit more? All right. Energy and water, $49.5 billion. Financial services, $24.4 billion. Why am I not shocked? Homeland Security, $51.88 billion. That does not include the $17.1 billion in emergency disaster funds that Homeland Security already got, or is going to get. Interior Environment, $36.107 billion. Labor, HHS, and Education, $197 billion, which, you know, is kind of nice. Health and Human Services is the HHS and part, and that's good. Again, maybe could have taken some of that defense budget, but nope. Legislative branch gets $5.3 billion, which is a $251 million increase from the last fiscal year. Military construction, VA, $113.1 billion. Now, I don't know how I feel about the military construction. The VA, though, that's important. So that's a good thing. But that's also an $8.9 billion increase, and I think I'm about to know why. State and foreign operations, $55.5 billion. And transportation, HUD, $75.4 billion. That's an increase as well. All right, so The bill's $12.5 billion for the VA Mission Act, which is Public Law 115-182, also falls within statutory spending limits. Excuse me. So Senate Republicans had joined Democrats in calling for a cap exemption for those funds, but House Republicans opposed the move because, of course, they did. The aim of that law, which was passed in 2018, was to give veterans greater flexibility in seeking care outside of the Department of Veterans Affairs system, which depending on where you live, like we have a VA hospital here, it's all right. It could be better. So all right, that's all I can really say about that. I can't speak to that as much as I would like to, but okay. So Strategic National Stockpile, the labor, HHS and education section of the bill calls on officials to provide monthly reports to appropriators on the Strategic National Stockpile's inventory of personal protective equipment and ventilators. And the bill would provide $705 million for the stockpiles, and that's good. But that's equal to fiscal 2020 level. And right now we have more people sick than we did before. In fact, Knoxville County is now the epicenter of the pandemic worldwide. Our county is now number 2. We're no longer number 1. We are number 2. Yeah, take that any way you want. It's fine. So also the measure. Oh, this is the fun one. Border wall. Okay, so this is another writer that they slipped in and just would not make the deal without it. Lawmakers settled on nearly $1.4 billion for border wall construction. This is short of President Trump's request for nearly $2 billion, so that's good. And his, of course, $5 billion request in 2019 led to the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. So, yeah, y'all remember that. Okay, but he hasn't had a standoff, according to Bloomberg government, quote, he hasn't had a standoff with lawmakers over wall funding since he circumvented Congress by using military funds to build additional fencing. And let's keep in mind that this is the fencing that's kind of just falling down in places all by itself. I mean, I'm sure wind or something is involved, but it's not great. And that also can be easily climbed over. So, yeah, and we're going to spend we taxpayers are going to spend $1.4 billion on constructing more of it. God. This measure also cuts funding for immigration and customs enforcement. Actually, I'm okay with that. Yeah, by $106.5 million compared to fiscal year 2020. So that's good. I'm glad that they're gonna cut some of that, because really, just leave people alone. Also, if we could get people out of those horrible camps at our border, that would be good too. Okay, policing. This was a big one. This was a big concession by the Democrats. The bill omits a series of measures pushed by House Democrats that had aimed to address racial disparities in policing. The original House bills included a measure that would have made some state and local police grants contingent on policy changes, including a ban on chokeholds, right? And a provision that would have barred funding for law enforcement for crowd control unless members wear quote, a clearly visible identification of the law enforcement agency. So those folks who were like putting tape over their badge numbers and shit, this would have prevented them from doing that. But it does include some smaller measures, such as $5 million to build databases to track claims of excessive force and officer misconduct, and $5 million for the Attorney General to create a task force on law enforcement oversight. So there is, I don't know, they threw us a bone, I guess. All right. So moving on. The bill would block a pay increase for members of Congress and their staff. Pay increases have been blocked since 2009. So thank you guys. Thank you for not giving yourselves a raise while the rest of the country is mostly jobless and dying and sick. Family planning. This is where it gets fun. And this is why I had to go to like some more conservative sources to find this, because they're proud of this bit. I couldn't find this in the I couldn't find anything about this writer in USA Today or in some of my other like go-to sources. But so in Bloomberg Government, and I've got another one. Family planning. The bill includes the long-standing Hyde Amendment, and that's HYDE, which bars federal funds for abortions except in cases of rape, incest, or to save the life of the woman. Congressional Democrats have said they want to remove the Hyde Amendment from spending bills starting in fiscal year 2022, when a Democrat will be in the White House. President-elect Joe Biden has said he also opposes the Hyde Amendment, which is good. The measure would keep Title X family planning funds flat at the fiscal 2020 level of $286.5 million. It would also keep funding flat for teen pregnancy prevention grants at $101 million, because we know as the population increases and as more teenagers, as more adolescents become teenagers and become sexually active, the teen pregnancy rate pretty much remains the same, right? It doesn't go up or anything. Okay. Yeah, so if you're wondering why Planned Parenthood can't take federal funding anymore, that the Hyde Amendment is why. Okay. And there's environmental there are environmental writers. Lawmakers, quote, lawmakers included long-standing environmental policy writers that Democrats wanted to remove from the bill. One measure would block officials from proposing an Endangered Species Act rule to protect the greater sage grouse, a game bird that inhabits a large expanse of oil and gas producing land in the West. Because, of course, they want to get to the oil and gas that's killing our planet. Okay. One. Oh my God. Sorry. This is rough. This is rough, you guys. Okay. Another would direct officials to establish policies that treat forest biomass as a renewable energy source, a move that would encourage the use of wood pellets for energy. I honestly don't know enough to know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's a Mama Atheist question. All right. So this is also, yeah, this is going to be weird. Okay. And then there's some copyright stuff. There's stuff about the Shasta Dam. Let's see. I honestly, I don't want to bore you all to tears, so I'm not going to go through okay, there we go. That's pretty much it. And I gotta say, like, when I read the family planning one, and they're just so proud of it. There's this shriekingly, to steal an adjective Junk Shop used earlier, there's a shriekingly conservative paper called the Alabama Political Reporter, or it's an online paper, and in an article entitled Palmer Adderholt Support Appropriations and COVID-19 Relief Bill by this was Brandon Mosley. Congressman Gary Palmer, Republican Alabama, and Robert Adderholt, Republican Alabama, both voted for the Consolidated Appropriations Act for 2021, the bill that funds the federal government through the fiscal year 2021 and provides an additional $900 billion of funding in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And then the article quotes Adderholt at length. I'm not going to read that. I'm sorry, and Palmer as well. I'm not going to read that whole thing. It's very long, and but they are very proud of what they were able to accomplish. And the one Adderholt quote that stood out to me was, quote, "I'm disappointed that it has taken Democrats so long to finally negotiate a deal that helps the American people. They held on to their liberal wish list for far too long. This should have been done months ago. I'm hopeful that in the future we can get spending bills completed on time and within regular order." As if it was just us, right? It was just our side going, no, no, no. And there weren't things that, the Republicans were also going, no, no, we're not signing it if it funds that. We're not signing, basically anti-racism training for police. We're not funding that. Okay. And one thing that's kind of cool, though, if you're nerdy and into astronomy, the bill does increase funding for NASA's Artemis program, and that's the program that's meant to get the U.S. Back to the moon again at some point. So yay for that. That's kind of cool. NASA doesn't get enough money most of the time. Okay. Also funding the border wall, yep. And the family planning thing is talked about again because Trump administration's Title 10 family planning regulations are now preserved by this bill. This 5,600 page bill that everyone did not have enough time to read. And that brings me to it's a mess. Okay, so hang on. What are you guys saying about this? Yeah, immigrants, exactly. Spending money to stop emitting carbon, then spend some more money to burn the stuff that traps the carbon. We're geniuses. It's a brilliant plan. I'm happy to be a part of it. Love you, Ox. I didn't mean to click on that. That was fun. Yeah. Artemis, woohoo! I agree. Agree on that. Okay, Lone Wanderer says, I think it's disgusting it took this long arguing over giving us a one-time payment of $600. Yeah, agreed. And oh my God. And frankly, what the fuck? Seriously, I mean, look, Junk Shop and I are very lucky. We have people who help us, who can help us right now. But y'all know our situation, and $600 doesn't even cover my rent. And I live in a very cheap place to live. I mean, it's chump change for a lot. I mean, not, it's 600 more than they had, but it's, and the funny thing, the really funny thing is I think it was Palmer, but one of the Republicans in the Alabama publication article was talking about how great it would be that we're giving $600 to every, adult and child in the U.S. so that they can go out and stimulate the economy by buying things. And I thought, well, maybe you should have passed this before Christmas, if that was your goal. And also, I will be using that stimulus money to pay bills. So I will be stimulating the electric company and, other things like that. Hey, Paul Camish. Oh, and there is a Jasper in the chat. Hey, Jasper. Hello, hello. Actually, awesome to see you. You are not a deadbeat ever. You're great. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with, and I gotta say that there's one, if you live in Tennessee, the one bright side or bright note of the whole family planning crap, the Title X bullshit, and the yanking federal funding, the Hyde Amendment. You can still get the morning after pill here at any Walgreens. I mean, I think technically you know what? I'm not going to say that because I'm not sure. But I can say from experience, after sometimes weird things happen with contraception. That's all I'm going to say about it. And I have gotten the morning after pill before, and it's very easy to get. I just said what I needed, and the pharmacist, who happened to be a woman, came over and said, "Do you want the brand name, or do you want the the off brand that's cheaper?" And I was like, "The cheaper one, please," assuming it works. And she laughed, and that was great. And yeah, so that's good. Harmonica Man, I just feel dumb with it all. I know, I'm sorry. This is not as happy as it should be. Hugs, everybody, who wants one. Oh, hey, Dave. Yeah, it's rough. And I mean, 600, oh gosh. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. There's so much I want to say. I just can't. I don't know. All right. So moving on to being down with the sickness, we have an update. So as I said before, Shelby County is no longer number one in COVID-19 cases and deaths. We're number two. Knox County in Tennessee is now number one. And the Shelby County Health Department reported 905 new coronavirus cases and 3 deaths since yesterday. That happened yesterday. And this was from WC Action News 5 from their website. So we were averaging, I think it was 761 cases, something like that, per day in Shelby County. And then yesterday it jumped up to 905. And we are going to go on lockdown again. That was supposed to happen at midnight last night, or early this morning, depending on how you look at it. But, or actually, no, the day before that. But unfortunately, Governor Lee decided that he really needed people buying shit for Christmas right up until Christmas Day. So now we don't go into lockdown until after Christmas Day. And that was the stated reason, too. I mean, it wasn't even, he didn't even try and blow some political smoke about how it would be wrong to separate families at Christmas time. Oh no, I'm not going anywhere near my elderly parents this Christmas, and it's breaking everyone's heart, and everyone is sad about it. But they actually told us not to come this year. Not that's fine. They're like, we'll talk over the computer or on the phone or something, but no, don't come out. And they're right. It's incredibly dangerous. And I called their house last night, and my brother was there, and I wanted to say, what the fuck are you doing there? But I don't know. Yeah, and you don't have to be in Shelby County to get the Rona. My sister and her family are down with it in Texas. So, yep. It's been a week, y'all, and it's only Tuesday. And I know I've said that before, but it's been a week. Wow, I went through all of that information so quickly that we still have 30 minutes. So, what do you guys think? Okay, so Microraptor asks, are they trying to beat COVID by making sure there's no one left to infect? Oh gosh, girl, I don't know. I think maybe. I don't know. It's freaking horrible. Um, they're trying to reach some kind. They're trying to somehow keep the economy going with so many people sick and laid off and out of work and dying. And those two things just can't. I mean, I'm not an economist, but I don't see how those two things can be reconciled. A big part of why they pushed the our lockdown date until the day after Christmas is because they wanted that's a huge week for restaurants, and that this was stated by Governor Lee as well. He didn't want restaurants going out of business. Nobody needs to be gathering in restaurants en masse. The shutdown wouldn't even shut down those restaurants. It would just limit them to 25% of their normal capacity. And I've worked in restaurants, and I know how hard it is to get into the black when you're a restaurant owner. I worked for a family owned, pizzeria in college, and it's a I mean it's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard. It's 60-hour weeks. It's really hard. But at the same time, it's like, who in their right mind is going out to eat in a restaurant right now where they're sitting close and breathing near other people during an airborne pandemic? And yes, I realize this is a really stupid thing to be doing during an airborne pandemic that attacks the pulmonary system and the lungs. I know. I'm very stressed. I'm not quitting smoking this week. Yeah. Thank you, Godless Granny. Yes, precisely. Money is more important than people. That's what we've learned. That's what I've learned from my Republican governor, Governor Bill Lee, at Bill Lee Gov, I believe, on Twitter. So feel free to tweet at him. We are nothing violent. Feel free to. We are anti-violence on this channel. Just feel free to tweet at him about how his policies are going to get people killed. All right. Okay. This is interesting. Yeah, Godless Granny says, a missionary I used to support said, quote, we need to protect the economy, not lives, because if people lose their money, they might commit suicide. Well, that, yeah, I mean, people have committed suicide over financial stress. That's absolutely true. There is a long history of that. But that's no. No. Oh, I have a correction. Here we go. Thank you, honey. It's actually at GovBillLee at Julo LaVoice, which is not, but no, that's, but no, at GovBillLee. Yeah, there you go. You feel free to tweet at him. Tweet at your own governor. What's going on in your all states? How bad is it? Are you doing okay? Gotta love unfettered capitalism. Yeah, that's right, Amiga Nuts. I'll tell you what, that penguin army, that's adorable. That yeah, I mean, Junk Chop and I did a whole video on this entitled "The Bottom Line is Going to Kill Us," and we did that way back, months back. And our city, everything, we were on lockdown for a hot minute, and then everything opened back up on May 1st. And it's just been downhill ever since. And a big part of the problem is, like, this psychologically affects people, right? Like, our governor would not issue a mask order, but like, I don't want to get this wrong. Anyway, you can't technically like get in trouble for not wearing a mask. Now businesses can refuse to let you in, and they all are, as near as I can tell. I have yet to see a business where, I mean, a guy tried to walk into, and honestly, he just forgot. He wasn't like a weird anti-masker or anything. He just forgot. You could see it on his face, but tried to walk into a store we were at last week, and the three young ladies at the registers were like, sir, do you have a mask? Do you have a mask, sir? And he went, oh my gosh, sorry. And he went right back out and had clearly like left his mask in his car and had just spaced. Because I mean, yeah, I think maybe we need to live in Western Australia because yeah, we're going pretty well here in Western Australia, says Mark Caesar. We were very lucky to be able to shut things down before it got here. Yeah, that's very cool. And and I realize that's not all of Australia and that, but I think so the US and the UK are just, what is, because I know the UK is back on lockdown too, and we should have been. Oh. Junk Top Library says his rationale was that anybody who wants to have a mask mandate is already wearing one. Lee's an idiot. Yes, he is. He absolutely is an idiot. Because when you don't get a mask mandate during this situation from the leader of your state, the governor of your state, there are a lot of people out there who are, I mean, we've all heard the America, my freedom stupid argument. That's not an argument. But there are a lot of people out there who will use that as a reason to not wear the things. Like, oh, they're uncomfortable. I don't like it. I feel like I can't breathe. Well, you know what? It's not about you. I mean, it's partially about you, but it's also about everyone around you, because you don't know if you have it or not. You could be an asymptomatic carrier. You could be somebody like a friend of mine who thought she was perfectly fine, thought they were perfectly fine, excuse me, and they took a road trip and then came down with it, and now their parents have it, and their partner has it, and it's just, and it's not their fault. They had no reason to think they were sick, but they were contagious before they were symptomatic. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I don't either, Microraptor. I don't know how realistic idea of a second civil war in the U.S. is, but I can understand people who worry about that happening. That term has gotten, hey, Robert X. Hey, Paul. That term has gotten thrown around a lot recently, like a second civil war. I think it's mostly militia group nonsense. We have these extreme right-wing sovereign citizen, Tea Party libertarian militia group people, but they're not that widespread. They're just super radical. Like, there's very few. They're just super radical and mostly dumb. So no, I'm not worried about it. And it would be a very bad idea because we have murder drones. We have drones that can kill people from the sky. This is no longer. I mean, if the people were to rise up and break into Dad's arsenal and get all the guns and try to overthrow the U.S. government, the U.S. military would slap that down really fast. Really fast. I mean, there's just no, and then anyone that was left alive would be tried for treason. So I just don't, and we still have the death penalty here, and treason is a capital offense. So, yep, we don't have it in every state, but that would be a federal situation. So, the thing is, how long? Well, that's a fair point too, Paul. The thing is, how long can we go on like this? Eventually, we will just have to get on with it. We can't sustain this indefinitely. No, we can't. And And honestly, I agree with you, man. And I think also that we missed our chance. New Zealand, and I don't know that it's fair to compare New Zealand to us or to the UK or to any other country, but New Zealand essentially, and I'm sorry, I don't have a citation for this. I just remember hearing it on a podcast. Okay, well, that's my citation. I heard it on the Scathing Atheist podcast when they do the headlines. But New Zealand initially, when this started, they went into lockdown, the entire country, and they gave every household $7,000, or the equivalent of like 7,000, whatever that is in New Zealand money. I think they say dollars too, but I might be wrong. Let me know. And then they said, everybody stay indoors. And they basically just waited it out until no one was getting infected anymore, and they're fine now. Like they went back to normal months and months and months ago because they did that. So it's just very, it's just, if we had done something, if we could have done something like that, that would have been the way to handle the situation. At least the results certainly seem to show that. Okay. Let's see. Lone Wanderer's Bunker says, I stay home so I don't have to wear a mask. I can't breathe well in them, and I am asthmatic with constant nasal congestion. Yeah, so I'm on house arrest until it's over. Yeah, I hear you. My best friend here from, like, we met when we were 14. She has asthma as well, and has a lot of allergies, and yeah, but she wears one when she goes in a store. You know, she's like, and actually it was one of the funny things, because she called me to complain about people who were trying to say they have a medical condition and can't wear a mask. Because she was like, I actually do, and if I can wear one when I'm out in public, they can fucking wear one. And because but Lone Wanderer, yeah, she doesn't go. She's not, going out. She's going out in public as little as possible as well, because it is difficult for her. Yeah, it would be a stupid war. I agree. Granny says, I put my mask on when any humans are near, then take it off when they're 12 feet away. Fair. All right. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not even sure. I need to look up exactly what this lockdown is gonna mean. Currently in our county, we've got over 6,929 active corona cases. I can tell you that I heard from my one of my nieces, who is a nurse, that she's pulling double and triple shifts because so many nurses are out with COVID, that and they had to shut down an entire ward of the hospital where she works, and it's a major hospital here in the city. So that's kind of a huge deal. And my niece is an ER nurse, and she says the ER is just constantly full. Most of our ICUs are operating at 95% or higher capacity. And ICUs are designed to be small anyway. Like they average around 24 beds here, but still. Yeah. I think, certainly the vaccines are going to help. I'm going to get my vaccine as soon as I can. As soon as they let me, I'm getting it. And then we shall see what happens. Oh, yes. Kudos to all medical staff. Yeah. Let's give a shout out. Shout out if you're working on the front lines of this pandemic. Thank you. I know we can't thank you enough. I know a lot of you are going to need some therapy. It's just really, really hard on all the medical staff right now. And I also want to say to all essential workers, to the people who are, stocking our grocery shelves and working at gas stations and everything. Thank you too. We need y'all. Okay. Let's see. Hang on. See if I can catch up here. But that is not enough time to come up with and implement schemes to make money off the pandemic, Julie. What NZ did would never work here in America. They don't seem to worship the dollar. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it would have worked here. I mean, it's definitely a hypothetical, and there's no way we can even test to see if that would make sense. But I think that the fact that like in my state we were only under a shelter in place, or they called it safer at home order. We were only under that for just a few weeks, and then they were like, never mind. So there's that. The New Zealand government did not give everyone $7K. They had a paycheck protection program. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Lone Wander. My bad. I misspoke. Or I said the wrong fact. I apologize. I said a fact that was not a fact. So thank you for the correction. I don't like to say untrue things, which is why I try to stick to the sources I have pulled up. I shouldn't have gone afield. I went afield, and it was bad. Don't go afield. Don't go to the forest. All right. Yeah, that would be nice, Linda. If people could only learn that it is called a face mask, it goes over both the mouth and the nose. Get it fucking right. Yeah, agreed. I don't know why this is so hard. I really don't. I caught my own father wearing his incorrectly with his nose hanging out, and I was like, Dad, stop it. Pull that up. That doesn't help. And he said, then my glasses fog up. And I'm like, deal with it. Like, it's better than dying. Like, ugh. All right. Well, that is the incredibly depressing show that I had for you today, guys. And I don't know. I really wish I could make some of this funny, but it's difficult. And the government budget stuff is, I mean, it's kind of old hat to be expected. That the group that's going to get the most money is the military for the U.S. We always do that, but it's tricky. So I'm going to jump to a source that is not linked, and I apologize, but it's another article on USA Today. It says a new safer at home order clamps down on Memphis area, but avoids harshest measures. So I want to know what they're talking about here. This is by Michael A. Watts and Samuel Hardiman from the Memphis Commercial Appeal, which is our main newspaper here. All right, so Memphis and Shelby County will return to a version of a safer at home order effective Saturday. The order will be in effect until January 22nd. Okay, again, what? That's 6 weeks, not even. What is the? Okay, at this point, quote. At this point, we don't anticipate reversing the curve. The goal is to blunt the curve and reduce deaths, said Shelby County Health Director Elisa Haushalter. She said that to the Shelby County Commission on Monday. This is also Haushalter. She said, quote, that's not a stay-at-home order. It's a safer at-home order. We are not closing indoor dining. Why? Why are we not closing indoor dining? What is happening? Again, I've worked in restaurants. I understand. I tip crazy amounts of money because I worked in restaurants. If I can't leave a really good tip, we don't go out. We haven't been out to eat almost this entire time because, frankly, I don't want to be around. I mean, Jung Shop and I were walking down to the pet store, which allows a limited number of people in at a time. and you have to wear a mask to go in, and it's got the 6 feet, stickers and everything on the floor, and it's good. All right. So we're walking down there, and as we do, we pass a restaurant where people are seated on the balcony, outdoor, outside, but they're seated right across from each other, talking into each other's faces, and the balcony was packed, and we just kind of like made a wide kind of circle around it, and kept walking. I mean, and then you're talking about indoor dining. So do they understand what airborne virus means? I don't know that they do. I'm starting to wonder if the Shelby County Commission and if any of these folks understand what that means. I mean, I'm surely the Shelby County Health Director, Elisa Househalter, understands that. Okay, she also said, quote, "We are clearly saying to the public, you are safer at home and should not be out and about." Okay. So that means that restaurants must limit indoor seating at 25% capacity. Otherwise, residents are strongly encouraged to shelter at home as much as possible. I don't, I mean, why not, this is what the small business part of the stimulus is for. Is for exactly this situation and these kinds of businesses. All food and beverage services shall close at 10 p.m. This means that any guests who are already receiving service at 10 p.m. may remain there until 10:30 p.m. to complete payment arrangements, but may not be served food or beverages after 10 p.m. Okay. Grocery stores, retail stores, and, quote, food cultivation businesses that are open to the public must operate at 50% capacity. Now, that's interesting because we have an incredibly busy grocery store right across the street, and it's always filled with people. Even during the initial safer at home, there's no way they were counting us as we were coming in and operating at 50% capacity. There's no way. Gyms, fitness centers, exercise facilities may operate, but capacity must not exceed 50%, including staff. What? Oh my God. Okay. Daycare and child care facilities can remain open with priority given to children of parents working in essential businesses. Okay, now I get that. I get that you can't, obviously you can't leave children home by themselves while you're at work. I get that. But yeah, exactly, Harmonica Man. No, they're not. These stay-at-home orders are not enforceable. It's basically it's sort of on the honor system. Okay, it's essentially you're supposed to go out as little as possible. Like we tried doing a grocery run where groceries would last us for 2 weeks, but our kitchen's really small and it's difficult for us to store that much food. So yeah. So anyway, we were able to pare it down to going out once a week. Once a week, that's it. And we've done that this entire time. We've done that since March. And but we'll be at the grocery store and we'll see people picking up like a soda and a bag of chips, and that's all they're there for. And it's like, why are you even in here? Why are there's so many people that social distancing is impossible. I can feel someone breathing on me, even though they're supposed to be 6 feet back. And somebody's in there to get a soda and a bag of chips. It's like, God, get. Okay. Linda says, all restaurants and fast food except drive-through are closed here in Denmark. Yeah, and that's how some places are handling it. Starbucks, for example, you can only go through the drive-through. They're not having people inside, and I think that's good. Same with Taco Bell. Sorry, I don't like Taco Bell, but yeah, but they're doing the right thing there. Why? And Godless Granny says, but wine is a necessity. You can just go in for wine. I can neither confirm nor deny that I may or may not have done that at some point during the pandemic. Just gone in for wine more than once. In some places, you can get a ticket for violating them, but there are so many exceptions. They are unenforceable. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for chiming in with the legal, bringing us the legal knowledge, Godless Granny. Oh gosh, y'all, I just don't even know right now. I don't even know. Yeah. Okay. Well, it is 2:55. We've been going for 55 minutes. Any last thoughts? Any last? Oh, I don't know. Is there anything any good coming out of this? I'm not sure. What I do know is that a lot of people are stepping up and helping each other, and it's amazing. Atheists are coming out of the woodwork to help individuals, to help groups, to help the Senate races in Georgia, so that you know, we get a couple of liberal senators in the. I mean, you've got a ton of atheists doing fundraising and campaigning for a reverend. One of the folks running for the Senate is a reverend. He's up against. He grew up in public housing. He does very well for himself, and he's a reverend as well as you know what? I'm not sure. I'm not going to say what his other profession is because I'm not sure. I can't remember suddenly. But he's running against a Loeffler, who is a millionaire, like way up there in the like part of the 1% for sure. Yeah, Mark Caesar. There you go. That's old school, man. I was all prepared for the pandemic and alcohol situation. I make my own. Yeah, some of my ancestors did that. Yeah, I'm not at that point. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, yeah, so I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is thank you so much to everybody in our community and everybody in the atheist at large community, which I realize is like herding cats. But man, when injustice is going on, when social injustice in particular, when things get bad, atheists show up, and I've seen a lot of that this year. I've seen a lot of us showing up to help each other, and oh, hey, Harmonica Man, I understand the brain chemistry fucking with you. I get it. It does with me too. Yeah, it's hard. It's harder than usual, even taking my meds and doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, and wearing my glasses. That's an Eli Bosnick quote, but even with that, it's hard not to be depressed right now. There definitely. It was hard to get out of bed today, but I did, and I got you guys to thank for that, because if I didn't have to do this at 2:00, I don't know that I would have necessarily. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you to all of my patrons. And yes, I am just kind of mumbling until the crawler comes back around, because I don't want to miss anyone. There we go. So deepest thanks to all of my patrons. The Lone Wanderer, A Bit of Tea and Danish, Captain Timothy, Mark Caesar, Santy the Sane, Microraptor, and Ox. Thank all of you so much. You make this possible, and to a couple of people who wish to remain anonymous, who have also helped out Junk Shop and I and our channels, we have no words, just other than thank you, and we are immensely grateful. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. because I don't have permission to say more. Yeah, the pandemic sucks. Yeah, oh, that's fair. Sex does relieve stress. If you're into sex, it does relieve stress. So if you can do that safely, and hopefully with someone you're quarantined with, and you're interested, it's okay to be asexual or ace. All right. Love you guys. Take it easy, and as always, remember, you won't find truth in wine, but you can find it in reason. Cheers.